Wet and rainy Saturday in Georgia. And of course, you see the picture behind us, Mercedes Benz Stadium. That's going to be the site of a huge game. Obviously, the world is watching between the University of Georgia and the University of Alabama. Coming up in the SEC championship game a little later today at 4 o'clock. And we're doing some previews on our channel here. Looking forward to the game. And we have online with us Champ Bailey. Champ, of course, UGA great, College Football Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famer, member of every Hall of Fame you can think of. I think he might even be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know. I'll have to check. But Champ, how you doing, my man?
I am great. I am great. Just to to piggyback off that, I am not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Liz, I've heard you. I've heard you sing. Maybe you should be. That's all right.
Trust me, I don't want to lower the bar.
I got you, man.
For what it means to be a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
I understand. Well, we wanted to pop in here and talk a little bit about the game coming up. Georgia continues its quest of 3 national championships in a row. One is amazing. To win a national championship, as you well know, is truly an amazing thing in college football these days with all the parity that, we have in college football. To win back-to-back national championships is just simply astounding. I don't know the word to use to win to describe possibly winning 3 in a row, but today's going to be a huge hurdle against a very good Alabama football team. You participated in big games. At every level, high school, college, and professional level. You've Super Bowl. You participated in Super Bowl. I mean, you participated in some pretty big games. Can you give me maybe just a little insight? And I know players deal with it differently, but what are the guys feeling like now in that Georgia locker room as they anticipate this game coming up? I know they're probably not in the locker room at the moment, but how would you approach and how did you approach a game like this?
Well, it's I think as a player or coach, what you want to do is not stray too far from what got you there. And I think, there's always hype. I think when you're back to back national champions, every game is big because for the opposing team, you have a chance to knock off the top dogs, right?
Right.
And you always dialed in for that. Well, this week is really no different. I would say the good thing about the SEC championship is it's right on schedule. And what I mean is it's that next week. It's not like you have to wait 2-3 weeks and worry about it and let things, kind of come up and distract you. I mean, so many reasons to get distracted and ways to get distracted week to week. Imagine 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. So, I think for everybody in that locker room right now, you just want to go out and do what you've been doing all year, but do it better, right? You want to just keep getting better because regardless win or lose in this game, we still have another game after this. Hopefully it's in the playoffs,
right,
regardless, but we still have more football to play. We just want to continue on that trajectory of getting better and just making sure we do better than what we did the week before.
Alabama won last week in the Iron Bowl in such a weird, dramatic fashion. I mean, that touchdown pass from Milroe, you got to give him credit. It was a great throw, great reception. Auburn, Auburn had like a 99% chance of winning the game before that play occurred. Of course, Alabama pulled it off. My thought about that is, okay, that's really going to feed some momentum for the Crimson Tide coming into this game. And you got to kind of wonder when stuff like that happens, is this a sign of maybe a team, a team of destiny for this year? Milroe certainly has turned his season around. And when he turned his season around, it turned Alabama's season around. You were a defensive back, as a defensive guy looking at this Alabama offense. And of course, they're missing their number 1 running back in the game today. He's out with an injury. How would you do anything significantly different defensively against Alabama? Or would you just get in there and hang in there with the great defense you have. How would you approach this game defensively?
Well, there's a couple things here. I think one thing that we all know as fans of college football, the quarterback position is so valuable.
Right.
And we've seen how much Alabama's improved based off the quarterback play. It wasn't like everybody else just started playing better. It was specifically their quarterback that just started playing better.
Right.
Now, when I look at a guy like Milroe and his ability to throw and his ability to run, he is the best dual threat quarterback that we're going to face this year.
Yeah.
But that's what scares me about him, because I look at what Missouri did against us. I look at what Georgia Tech did against us with their quarterback. Those guys made plays against us. So that worries me a little. But I tell you what, as a defense, we just got to make sure we make the plays that we can make. And it's not really stepping outside of anything that we've already done. It's just continually getting better and making the plays in front of us. Now, I'll look at this last play of the Auburn game and say, oh, that could really propel them to do great things going forward. Well, I don't feel like plays like that really matter for the next week. And, to be honest, Auburn really shot themselves in the foot on that play, because everybody that was close to the ball or had a chance to make a play on the ball didn't even see the ball. So, and why is there one guy over there defending and you only rushing 2 or 3 guys? Like, there should have been 8 people over there. So with that said, that was more of a shot in the foot from Auburn more than what Alabama did. Of course, you got to execute, but I mean, it was set up so perfectly for them to execute at that point. I give them a lot of credit for taking the chance there, but the game was on the line. I mean, that play should never happen, But I give Bama a lot of credit. They came in, they won 10, 11 straight. I have no idea, but they're on a roll, and it's really based off that quarterback. And I got to give him a lot of credit. They're letting him do what he does, and he's been very dangerous.
Oh, no, offensively for Georgia, I think McConkey is going to play. That's the word. McConkey and Bowers are going to play, but there's a question as to, how effective, or will their effectiveness be limited because of their injuries coming in?
We'll see.
Yeah, it'll make a world of difference if those 2 guys can play to some kind of a modicum of, what they're capable of. Offensively, Auburn ran all over Alabama last week, like 280 something yards, if I remember correctly, or 40 something yards rushing last week. And Kendall Milton, the dude is really doing very well here in the last few weeks. And Carson Beck, I think Georgia offensively, I don't know if there's a better team in the country offensively, to be honest with you, when everybody's healthy. Against this Alabama defense, you got to feel kind of good about Georgia's ability to move the ball. What are your thoughts about that?
Hey, I love our offense. I mean, the thing is, you don't know what's coming, and we can line up and put a jumbo package out there and run it right down your throat, or we can sling it all over the field. I just feel like we are in a position offensively to do whatever the game dictates, and I love that about our team. There's nothing one-dimensional about it. We got playmakers all over the place. Without Bowers, we've been able to just keep steady. We don't turn the ball over a lot, shoot ourselves in the foot. So there's a lot of good things to like about this offense. And with that, we still have a great defense.
Yeah.
So it's more one of those things, like, we just know we can't give them opportunity to think they're going to just take over the game. And we just do what we do. Like you said, Kendall Milton looks like a different back than what we've seen. It's probably the healthiest he's been in his whole career. So it's just amazing to see the abilities we have offensively, because we've been riding this defense so much. It hasn't been fair to the defense, but now it's like, okay, the defense has to keep up with the offense because we're so good on offense.
Yeah, and you got of course, Dejon Edwards and Kendall Milton. That's pretty good. That's pretty good 1-2 punch coming out of the backfield. So here we go, Georgia coming into this game. Oregon and Washington. I don't know if you had the opportunity to watch that game last night.
Oh
Uh,
man, I missed most of it.
y-
Watching high school football.
oh, I got you. Well, did your team win? Did your high school team win?
No. I was
Oh,
watching high school football, not my high school
oh,
though.
gotcha. I got you. Well, but Washington obviously winning that game, and you would have to expect they're in the playoffs now. You got Florida
Uh-huh.
State taking on Louisville later on tonight in the ACC championship. What are your thoughts on that game? Who you gonna ride with in
Well,
that game?
unfortunately, Florida State lost their quarterback,
Right,
right? So
right.
it's more how much can the backup, you know, I guess live up to the standards that their starting quarterback had, and you can't expect them to be the same guy or be the same team, but they have a lot of players all over the field,
Right.
so it's not like they're out of it. It's just, again, it goes back to the way we started this conversation. The
Yeah.
quarterback is so important, and it really rubs off on everybody else when the quarterback plays well. So if he can maintain and don't do anything to mess up the game, I think Florida State has a chance. And with that chance, they're one of the most deserving teams to be in the playoff. Probably deserve to be in it.
Yeah.
So it's a big game for them, and it can be a moment changer for that program.
Yeah, and of course, Rodemacher, the backup quarterback, has suffered a concussion. He's 50-50. Florida State maybe starting a freshman quarterback in this game who's had 18 plays, I think, or something like that in the season. So that'll be an interesting game to watch. Then you got Michigan and Iowa playing in the Big Ten championship game. Iowa is such a fascinating team. They average 12 points a game or something like that. Georgia scores that in like 2 minutes in a game playing against Michigan, the Big Ten championship. Is it possible? Could somebody like Iowa actually knock off Michigan? That'll be kind of an interesting game to keep an eye on, isn't it? Wouldn't it?
Yeah, very unorthodox way of winning and how they get to the championship game. Iowa just, like you say, who averages that little bit of points and does anything good in this league or in this day and age? I
Yeah.
mean, it's unbelievable that they made it, but that's it, man. When you give teams a chance to do special things, it, you know, Iowa's nothing to sleep on. It's not like
Right.
they have a losing program, right? So they're always going to have a shot. And you don't want Michigan going in there overlooking the importance of winning this game, because if they lose or play a close game, I mean, it could be demoralizing to their confidence. And this is really not a good game for Michigan to have right now,
Right.
to be
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah.
because there's no upside here unless they blow them out.
And Iowa very good defensively. And I saw today where Iowa had 63 and outs this
Right.
season. But hey, that's the game they play. They slug you down in the trenches and try to take advantage of stuff that you do, offensively. That'll be an interesting game to watch. Another interesting game, Oklahoma State and Texas in the Big 12 championship or Big 12 championship game. Texas, of course, obviously moving to the SEC next year. So Oklahoma State and Texas are the only team to beat Alabama this year. Texas, kind of saying, okay, if we can win our conference, perhaps we're deserving of being in the college football playoffs. That's going to be a fun game. Gundy has a way of doing stuff. Does Oklahoma State have a chance against Texas, you think?
I, of course they do. And it this takes me back to James Madison.
Yeah.
Making all that noise about being left out of bowl games and the playoff or whatever they were crying about a few weeks ago. Then they go out and lay an egg against App State.
Yeah.
So you can't worry about things you can't control. And I've seen Texas fall into that trap before. Now, I do believe they have the best leadership they've had in a while in Sarkisian. So it's more now, can they live up to the hype that they've created for themselves and just go out and do what they do? I mean, they should win this game handily, but we all know, like, any given day, like, you can go down. All it takes is a couple of those kids to mind to wander and think about things that they can't control. And they focus on this game. They should win it, but I give Oklahoma State about a nah, 15, 20% chance of winning this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day of watching college football today, and of course, for us, all eyes will be on Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So, my prediction for the Georgia-Alabama game is Georgia winning 24-21. I look for a heart pounder today between
Okay.
these two
Defensive game.
teams. Yeah,
That's a defensive game these days,
defensive
right?
game. Yeah, these days. What do you think? You got an idea of a score maybe for a prediction?
Yeah, I do. I'd say 38-27.
38-27. Bulldogs winning,
Yeah.
right? Right.
Bulldogs win 38-27.
Oh,
I think we'll do what we've been doing, allowing people to hang around the first half. I hope we don't do that too much with this team because this is
okay.
probably the best team we've played all year. But I just feel like we're gonna stick to the script. We're gonna allow teams to score early, and it'll look interesting in the first half, and then we'll do what we do in the second half and pull away from them. But it'll be a good game. I do look forward to a good game.
Georgia has given up touchdowns on the opening drive. I think 5 straight games or 6 straight games. Can we straighten that out
Unheard of.
today? Let's don't. That always gives us the heebie-jeebies when that happens. Of course, Georgia just does what it does and comes back and handles things. But would it be okay if we score first this time?
Right. I mean, ease my nerves. Right.
Yes.
Like it's really nerve wracking to see how we wait to figure things out or wait to really put our foot in the gas. But I would love that we score first for a change. That would be very nice. I feel like I don't know. If have we scored first or has the other team had the ball every time first?
I think the other team has had the ball every time, and then they go down to score, and and you say, oh, well, especially with that Tennessee game where they scored on the first play of the game, and you thought, oh boy, here we go, Neyland Stadium and all these fans, and then of course Georgia just took control of that game and handled
Yeah,
business.
man.
So that'll be nice to see if Georgia can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Quickly, give me your 4 in the college football playoffs after today. Who's going to be there? You think?
Who's gonna be there? I got Georgia beating Bama. So number 1, Georgia. I got Michigan in there. I believe Florida State will handle business, but Washington will take the 3rd spot. Florida State will, handle business and get in there in the 4th spot.
So
I don't think much will change.
Yeah, that'll put Georgia and Florida State in the first round then, 1 and 4, and then 2 and 3.
And that'll be another Sugar Bowl rematch, right?
Oh boy, that'll be fun. It's a fun time of the year. Well, Champ, thank you for taking time out to call in, and we'll see what Georgia does, and of course, we're looking for a big victory, and we appreciate you taking time and giving us a call. Okay.
Always, Chris. Good talking to you.
Thank you, man. God bless you.
All right, have a good one.
All right, guys, and be sure to join us a little later on today. We'll have a pregame show as we look forward to Georgia taking on Alabama. And thank you for joining us. And oh boy, we're counting down the time. Go Dog.